and that those dimensions have a reality outside of our physical understanding. Well, today we're going to go into a fair amount of detail about what's known about that physical understanding of the spiritual world and how we can use it to help evolve ourselves. The spiritual world is somewhat different than what you might suspect. It's not just a world where ghosts or spirits walk around all day in white robes and kind of just chill and wait for their next life. It's a much more robust and, how shall I say, active place, dynamic place than the physical world. The physical world, in my own personal research and in my own reading and training, is a place that is derived from the spiritual world. So we're going to answer some basic questions at the beginning and set up the discussion or the presentation so that we have some clear definitions about what we're going to be talking about. First question is, what is the spiritual world? We're going to answer that shortly. How does it differ from the physical world? We're also going to answer that shortly. And an important question, which is not just for shamans or magicians or people who are in spirituality, how do you get there? What is the significance of talking about the spiritual world for everyday people? We're also going to start with a general theory, a theory you may or may not have heard in some detail in the past. Human beings in this theory, and it's a general theory of how we can meld the spiritual world and the physical world together. The theory is human beings descended from a primordial state of energy. Primordial means unformed or undescended into matter. The second condition of this theory is that the present condition of the human body is a transitional condition that is a complex of energy and matter. The human body is not the solid thing we think it is. Actually, one of the amazing things about particle physics is that we haven't discovered any solid particles yet. And that human beings, everything that we see is not solid. When we touch ourselves, when we touch a rock or sand or eat food, it feels solid. But that's a very convincing illusion. That's not real. Every atom we ever looked at can be split. And you keep splitting it, and it gets down to the point where it's just energy. And the human body is no exception to that. The human body, as a matter of fact, and we're going to go over some remarkable slides, can be made to return to a state of pure energy while a person is still alive. And there's been some research to show that, and there's been a lot of people, hundreds of thousands of people, that have done that consciously. This isn't just something that is a mathematical construct or mystical theoretical discussion. This is something that happens. This is something that happens on what you would almost call a regular basis. The vast majority of humanity in this general theory still exists in a state of energy, undescended into matter. And humans still exist in what we call, in the physical form, are only a small fraction of human beings. And that primordial humans are all around us. Now you might ask, well, I can't see them, I can't touch them. Well, you might ask the same question of bacteria. You can't see them, you can't touch them, but they outnumber humans billions to one. Primordial humans are the same. Their true home is the spiritual world, and that's the world we're going to be discussing. These primordial humans, humans that live in a different state than you and I, have a different energy density than we do. We might call them spirits. They also present themselves as luminous beings. I'm going to go over some discussion about what that is. They can take a variety of shapes and forms. Also, some of these primordial humans are a lot smarter than we are. They have greater intelligence and greater mastery over reality. Also, these primordial humans live in what physical humans call the spiritual world. So the interface between physical humans, us, and primordial humans, which are humans that are undescended into matter, is called the spiritual world. We're going to look at several clues as to why this theory was generated. And we're going to take clues from several areas. The first clue we're going to look at are clues from the ancient world. Now, a lot of people, when we were growing up, we thought that people a long time ago were very primitive. We thought that they didn't know anything compared to you and I. And actually, that's far from the truth. In many